Good morning, everyone.
Morning. Morning.
Yes, my name is Bathouse John Coughlin. It's good to see you all here. Now, I have a unique distinction this morning. I might be the only person that you're going to meet on the tour this morning that isn't actually buried here at Evergreen Cemetery. But these people I'm standing in front of right now, neither are 5 of the 6 of them. Yes, we have something to think about. Now, my story, I do have connections here in Colorado Springs. Now, I want to go back to 1892. Actually, I was born in Chicago, lived my whole life in Chicago, died in Chicago. But in 1892, I ran for alderman of Ward 1 in the Chicago area, what was then called the Levy District. And sure enough, I knew enough people in the right places, forced enough people to vote 3, 4, 5 times, I got elected. And I served in that capacity all the way up until 1938, when I took my last breath there. Now you're wondering, well, okay, so what's the deal? Why am I here? Well, you see, Levy District in Chicago at that time was, if you were looking for a parlor house, if you were looking for drugs, if you were looking for gambling, if you were looking for almost anything else that was illegal at the time, that is where you wanted to go. And we had lots of money flowing in. And we had some of the finest places in town, so if you were looking for those kind of services. Now, a couple of ladies that worked there, their names were Ada and Mina Sims. And actually, they went by the name of Everly at that time. They owned a club there called the Everly Club, the finest club in Chicago. Even in 1900, they charged as much as $500 a night for their services. Now, those 2 ladies, I will tell you, just happen to have headstones right here, but they're not here. Now, I did know them at that time. Of course I knew them at that time. And there are records to show that they may have paid me as much as $2 million during their years for my services. Now, as an alderman in Chicago at that time, I only got paid $100 a month. I couldn't very well walk around with wads of cash in my pockets. It would have, of course, made people question where I was getting the money. So in 1901, I had this idea. See, I had been sending my loyal voters, or girls who worked for me, out here to Colorado Springs already for a couple of years because they had tuberculosis. At that time, the high dry air here in Colorado was the cure. It was the only cure. So I'd been sending my girls out here, and in 1901 I decided to check it out myself. And I came to Colorado Springs. And I really did enjoy my time here. Because here, nobody knew me. Here, nobody cared who I was. Here, if I had money, they were more than happy to take it. They didn't care where it came from. So after a couple of summers of coming out here to check on my loyal voters, I decided in 1903 to buy a tract of land, and I did. It was called the Johnson Tract at that time, 150 acres, south of Colorado Springs. Eventually it would develop into what you all might know today as the Ivywild area. Well, in that area is where I built my house. And my plan was that I was going to start a suburb, another city really. But plans sometimes don't work out because I also had an affinity towards animals. And in 1903, that same year, there was an elephant back in Chicago that had an incident. Princess Alice was her name. She got her trunk caught in an elevator. Got the last 3 or 4 inches cut off. Well, the keepers back there, they didn't know what to do with her. They were going to put her down. Once I'd heard about it, I said, no, send her to Colorado Springs. I will make sure she is taken care of. They brought her out here, and when she arrived, she was very sick. We didn't know what to do for her. You see, we didn't have too many elephant vets here at that time. But what was the common cure for just about everything? Well, you got a cold, take a shot of whiskey. So that's what I told my keepers. I said, give her a bottle of whiskey. See if that'll help. Wouldn't you know, it did. And we gave her another bottle of whiskey. And sure enough, she got better. After about a month, she was in perfect health. But had in the meantime become quite the lush also. She developed a taste. Now, years later, she had become such a lush that visitors, whenever they came around, she would actually frisk you. She'd shake you down looking for a flask or a bottle. And if she found it, she would take it and then drink it and drink until she passed out. Well, that elephant was the start of a different idea or a different plan for me. There, I thought, I'm going to start a zoo. And I did. And I started building. 1906, I opened up the first zoo here in Colorado Springs, or in the Colorado Springs area, Zoological Park. Huge success. People from all around enjoyed it, made good money at it. But I still had money to spend, so years later I decided I'm going to add. I had purchased just about all the rides from the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. And I thought, I'm going to bring all those out here, and I set up an amusement park next to the zoo. So between the two, we changed the name. Now it's just referred to as Zoo Park. And in that zoo, I had more than 150 animals. And in that amusement park, I had more than 50 rides, including at the time what was called one of the fastest roller coasters in the entire country. Well, things went grand, and I kept adding. I still had money. I built a baseball park. I brought back professional baseball to Colorado Springs here. The first team since the Millionaires had left a few years earlier. On top of that, I built a bathhouse and pools for people to enjoy. Life was grand for a few years. Well, as the money kept coming, it was wonderful. But in the latter half of the 1910s, things in Chicago started to change. Parlor houses were being shut down. Saloons were being shut down. Prohibition was just right around the corner. So I was losing a lot of the money that I had, that I needed to keep these things afloat. As you see, they never really did make money. So in 1915, unfortunately, I had to shut down Zoo Park and everything that went with it. I stuck around for a little while longer, came back in 1916. I didn't want to give up on Colorado Springs, but at that time my house burned down. Well, I had finally had enough. And in 1916 I decided I'm going back to Chicago. I never came to Colorado Springs again. That time I ordered my lawyer, William Colburn, to liquidate everything. So he shut it all down, tore everything away. And today nothing exists at Zoo Park except for the pond that I built for a couple of different rides. Now getting back to Anna and Mina here. They are not buried here either, nor are two of their sisters and their mother in the back here. The only one that is one sister, Flora. Now we do know in 1904, Flora was here with her father, their father, Montgomery Sims. He owned a billiard hall in Colorado City. Was not a rich man. Can't imagine he was, and he was constantly in trouble with the law. He was constantly suing El Paso County. El Paso County, Colorado Springs, Colorado City were constantly going after him. So, supposedly as it goes, he purchased these plots here after the death of his daughter in 1904. Now, could a billiard hall owner, a man who was constantly in trouble, could he have afforded 6 plots like this? Could he have afforded an obelisk like this, which is by far the largest one in this cemetery? And even on top of all that, why would he have done so when his wife and 2 of his daughters were already dead and gone and already buried at St. Paul Cemetery in Alexandria, Virginia? We just don't know why he would have done that. But now, with Bathouse John being out here and being I won't say intimate with the ladies, because he was known to be a good husband and a good father, but he did know them. And they did pay him quite a lot of money. Could he have had something to do with that? Questions, even today, still unanswered. We just don't know why these plots exist. All right, well, that's my story. Thank you all very much.
Where was the Zoo Park?
The Zoo Park,
Where was it?
Cheyenne Road, just a little east of Alsace Way, all the way down to 8th Street. And then it went a couple of blocks north of 8th Street and a couple of blocks, quite a ways actually south of Cheyenne Road. Now today, if you look at a map, which I just happened to print out a copy, right in this area today, the only thing exists from the Zoo Park is the pond that he built right there. Everything else, it's all surrounded by houses now.
All right, we're going to go this direction.